Hi, Lawrence LeBrocq, Managing Partner of Garces, Grabler, and LeBrocq. Welcome to Victim to Victory, the authority in personal injury. Today we have the privilege of having Jerry Zhou, who is the co-founder and CEO of Supio. Supio is an AI platform in the legal space. How are you doing today, Jerry?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your beginnings and how you got involved in AI and then how that all translated in going into the legal space?
Yeah, I'd love to. Um, I'm a software engineer by trade. Worked in a lot of software companies before starting Supio. Last one I was at Microsoft for Office 365. Led a lot of the productivity efforts there, and namely around how we can automate legal and vertical work, right? And one of the big learnings I had around this work is the long tail of complexity and knowledge work, legal work is very high. And in order to build a platform that can help solve some of these problems, you really have to understand fundamentally what kind of data these folks are working with. And by understanding the data first, you're able to build automation and AI and platforms on top of that that can then help them leverage that data to do work for their clients. And that's how we really came to create Supio.
So tell us a little bit about what does Supio do in the legal space?
Yeah. Supio is a platform that's only focused on personal injury. We ingest all of the data inside a law firm's cases, and then we help them understand that information, whether it's previous cases to understanding potential valuations to being able to draft documents and understand your interactions with clients and adjusters. Where we take all of this information around your firm, and then we make that actionable for you. And that's through exposing, conversational interfaces like chat to like agents to be able to do this work.
Now we use Supio. We do a lot of drafting of complaints and various things. The How do you take all the medical records and have those set up chronologically? How does that work? We see the final product, but what does it take to make that happen?
So, medical records are an interesting one. This is one of our first products that we built for the PI market. And one of the hardest things about this is it's so dense with data. And when you go and try to understand this, how do you understand, how many events there are per page? What kind of format is it? Is it on Epic? Is it a Cerner? Is this like a pharmacy record? So the AI itself understands how to recognize the different types of documents that we encounter day to day. And then we have a bunch of strategies that the AI actually uses, much like a human does, to go and read through these records and dissect what the different types of events and injuries are for this. And as foundation models have gotten better, multimodal models have gotten better, we're able to understand much more complex information, everything from like crazy handwriting notes to being able to split up every single physician note in an Epic record for a medical malpractice case where you can understand a flow sheet minute by minute.
So what made you concentrate in personal injury law, and how does it different from, say, corporate law?
Yeah. Um, First of all, we love the space and the alignment with doing good. We have all this technology. I've been building software all my life, and just having a purpose of, helping people is always incredibly attractive to us. We look at personal injury as like the safety mechanism in society for when the rules don't necessarily represent individuals well, and how do you rectify that? And if we can lower the friction for that, you're helping the the good of the overall world. So it gives us a lot of purpose, and a lot of our engineers come from like large tech companies and have taken much smaller compensation to come here and build this for the team. So we're really excited about that. I think on the other side of this, like the customers themselves, like you guys and some of the great firms we work with, it's such an outcome based industry where you guys are willing to use this technology and embrace what it takes to fight in this David and Goliath war. versus, corporate law where they're more focused on like being able to bill their clients or things like that.
So talk a little bit about the workflow. How does Supio help, and what does it do in the workflow of a personal injury case?
Yeah. So we will go right when the point of a call, right? And Supio Inbound basically listens to all of the phone calls for you. And it'll give you insights of the person, your intake specialist is picking it up, to automatically having a voice agent answer that call for you if it's after hours or overflow. From there, if you elect to use that product, we'll automatically transfer that intake directly into our Supio application, where now this case is open for you. And on top of that, we're syncing to your practice management system the whole time. So now through the life cycle of that case, from opening that case in intake to gathering that documentation to treatment to demand letters and settlement, Supio is there along the way. So every time there's new documents coming in, we'll help you understand what's going on, whether it's updating your ledgers or updating your treatment chronology or helping you prepare your letter of representation to like your mediation briefs, right? We're there for every stage. And if the case doesn't settle, then we're ready and we'll help you through discovery to all the way to like prepping for trial. And that's the goal of Supio, is like we understand the way you work, we understand all that data, and we'll help you every stage.
One of the amazing things, or one of the problems with AI, and we've all heard the horror stories about attorneys getting disbarred and reprimanded for the hallucinations in AI and not checking. But yet Supio has really done great in that battle. I think it's a 97% now success rate that you've reduced the hallucinations. How did that happen, and explain what a hallucination is and how you've attacked that issue?
Yeah. If you think about AI, right, it's really generating all these words based on probability, what it thinks is going to be the next answer. So hallucination is when it's wrong, like those words don't represent what the reality is. And for Supio, we've always been responsibility first. And what that means is, from the beginning, we heavily leveraged humans in the loop to check for quality, right? And as the AI got better, we can step back a little bit on humans in the loop, even though we still use it for these exception cases out there. And we focus on every single data set to make sure, like all the different strategies we employ in medical or billing ledgers. If you're dealing with litigation, we understand, all of the litigation documents to get your posture through the case, right? So these are all individual aspects that we tackle piece by piece, and we measure this against what is expected from a human perspective before we feel like it's safe enough to be able to put in the hands of our users. Right. Now, that being said, a lot of the hallucinations that we do see in the market today aren't just from the data in the case. It comes from legal research, right? And that's why we're super proud and excited about our partnership with Westlaw. We're the only PI company in the world that has, access to their APIs, being able to do research against Westlaw data in order to make sure that the citations that we're actually making are valid. So, we view that partnership as a combination of understanding the case and being able to do the legal research together to create a holistic AI for our market.
Right. I was just going to ask you about that. How is your partnership with Thomson Reuters and Westlaw working out for you, and what are the advantages of partnering up with them?
Well, it's certainly great. We have a great number of customers in our last few quarters, obviously, as the partnership started. They've been great investors of Supio as well, because they believe in this space and these types of lawyers. But more importantly, we can bring all of that knowledge sitting in Westlaw to our customers based on the unique factors of their cases, right? You no longer have to spend all this time doing this research when we actually know, based on your previous cases, what you like to use to basically what the unique factors of this case is. So we can go and have an agent do that research for you and bring you back those valid cases with those citations, so you can make sure that this is the actual case law you want to use and include in your briefs.
That's fantastic. No more shepherdizing like when I was in law school, when you had to actually manually check all those sites yourself. So talk to me a little bit about now your insights and your vision of agentic AI. How are we progressing there?
Yeah. So I think the market talks a lot about agents, but very few people have interacted with a real AI agent, right? Agents are autonomous in some ways to be able to go achieve goals. There's a difference between chat, where you go and ask a question and it looks at your documents and answers it back to you, versus an agent that can achieve a goal. Like, the common ones you'll see online is like, I want to book a airline ticket to go travel to New Jersey to come see you guys at GGL. And like, it might do that for you. And the immediate question is like, okay, is it going to book the right airline ticket? Is it like, cost? Is it going to be on rails, right? So agents are basically chaining all of these different actions together to go achieve these really complex goals. And they're imbued with like a human level of strategy and practicality. Like a great example for Supio is, our agents today are now able to go back and look at all your case files, to look at, maybe some other demand that you drafted that you want to go reference to go do this one. Well, how's it going to go do that? You have to expose the tools to this thing, like being able to navigate a directory, being able to go understand like you're looking for the John Smith case. So it's going to try to go find that case for you. It was about 3 months ago. So it's going to go filter down to 3 months ago to go look for it for you, right? You're able to go guide it the way that you're able to guide staff members. And what's been incredibly impressive as the developers of agents to look with practitioners is like, lawyers are naturally equipped to give instructions to agents, because it's a lot of like written clarity that you need to have for the instructions that you create. So a lot of these agents now, were the ones that Supio are launching, are going to be able to let you create those instructions on the fly, but more importantly, create instructions that let these agents run autonomously over time. And ultimately, because of the workflows that lawyers do themselves, only an attorney will understand what those instructions are and modify them through their relationship with this agent.
That's incredible. Now, you've raised a tremendous amount of money, over $90 million recently. What do you see? How are you going to apply that money? Where is Supio going to be in the next 18 months? What's the next phase?
Yeah, that's an exciting one. I mean, we are hyper focused on continuing to invest in personal injury, right? That's the entire stack, from being able to take a call into the system, to being able to understand all your documents, to your client interactions, to being able to help you through litigation and discovery. And our tools get deeper over time, and they spread in their footprint, but the mission is always the same, which is to be able to help you guys scale and deliver the best results for your clients.
So what is the future role of lawyers going to be? If AI can eventually automate entire workflows, what is the role of the lawyer going to be, or the new role of the lawyer going to be?
I think the lawyer is an advocate for their client, right? And I'm not one to speak for your profession, but that never changes. And just because, you have a tool now that can automate some of the work, it's no different than like rooms of scribes transitioning to a copying machine, right? The lawyer is still there doing the work, and they need to make the decisions for the case. It's just much more powerful at your fingertips, right? So I think legal research is a great example where, having case law is great, but it's only as good as how deep you put in the work to research it. So now with AI, you can go a lot deeper, look at a lot more cases, right? And now with Supio, you're able to understand all the different situations in which this case law would apply. So, that's what's exciting about the next generation, that like everyone can up level the craft, so to speak.
I look at the advent of great AI companies like Supio as allowing the plaintiff to fight back against Goliath. It's like it used to be the David and Goliath scenario, but now with AI, it allows us to, Allstate used to have, for example, their system that would say, oh, we put it into our computer system, Colossus, and it said, this case is only worth $25,000. Now we have a way to fight back. How is AI the great equalizer for the plaintiff lawyer?
On the abstract, I would say it democratizes information access, right? If you think about defense in general on the billable hour, like a major mass tort or something like that, it's like always in every movie where they flood you with discovery.
Right.
And, and you're getting billed, they're getting billed by the hour. They don't care, but like you're funding this yourself or through a financier. And that's how they get you, is like they overwhelm you with information, and it takes effort, right? But AI is relentless. It's not super smart. It's not like this AI is like smarter than the greatest lawyer, the best strategy. But if you want it to look through every page of every document, it will go do that for you. And if you want it to go sift through and find information for you. So it just dramatically lowers that access to information in a way that makes it not matter anymore. If you have an army of folks to look through these documents, or a single AI that you can scale to 30 subagents in a swarm to handle that situation.
Now it is exciting. And this is a very competitive space now in the personal injury, the AI firms that are competing in personal injury. How do you see Supio competing with some of your big competitors? What's going to separate Supio from and I'm not going to name them, but some of the other big AI companies that are fighting for the PI law firm's business?
Yeah. I mean, the first one, as it sounds cliche, I think is just having integrity in the technology that we build, right? Like the truth is that, we want to be responsible in how we release this type of technology. We want this to be something that does not hallucinate. This is why we went out and built partnerships with some of the great practice management systems and built partnerships with Westlaw, because we understand that this is about the lawyer and ultimately the outcome is about the client. And that allows us to move step by step in a very thoughtful way that implements transformative technology without necessarily having to be irresponsible in the way we do this. And PI is such a vast industry across everything from like a simple motor vehicle accident to a very complicated bellwether case in mass tort. So ultimately, all of that gets unified in just like the practitioner and the data that they're using. And that focus for us is going to center us in a place where technology is always changing. It's heavily tumultuous, and how we treat our customers is going to be the way that folks remember us by.
So if 5 years to 10 years from now, Supio is the industry standard, how is the average person's experience going to change if they're involved in a simple automobile collision, a slip and fall, or a construction case?
Well, so from my observation, right, of attorneys these days, like the hardest thing, the most valuable thing that a lawyer has is their time. And when you have all that time back from being able to handle all this information work, you're going to have a lot more time for your clients. And that means that you're going to be able to have better conversations. You're going to be able to coach them better. This is the hardest time in their lives, right? Every single offer you get to like understanding the outcomes. And the information you're informing them of now is backed up by all of this analysis from, the hundreds or thousands of cases you've done in the past, right? Where you're like, this is the offer, this is how we think we should take it. Look at these 4 cases that we looked at before, right? It's so much more backed up by data than previously before. And the conversations and the relationship, I think, becomes something much different than the relationships today, because the lawyer just doesn't have enough time to deal with this. They're busy taking depositions or prepping for trial or whatever. And, it's a tough job to be in.
There's a saying in the PI industry that lawyers are not going to be replaced by AI, but lawyers that use AI are going to replace lawyers who do not. Can you comment on that and give us your perspective?
Yeah. It's like every single industry as technology transforms it, right? Like, when I started building software for PI, one of the things I heard about personal injury lawyers was that they were the most forward adopting attorneys in the world. And I love that. It's like, they were the first to advertise on the internet, right? It's like, it's a highly competitive capitalist environment that we live in today. So, in order to win and you're outcome based, you'll embrace this personal transformation. And I'm so fortunate to work with some of the best attorneys in the US, and I see them care more about mastering their craft than talking it's not about AI, it's about how do you become better. And that's what I think is exciting about this. And I think it's the same if we were like working as artists or like furniture makers, or, you know, power tools came out. Are you going to do hand tools or power tools? Everyone uses table saws today, right? You're not doing that, right? It's the same types of concepts, I think, as we evolve in society.
Yeah, not too many people are riding around in a horse and buggy anymore either, right? So things do evolve. Now, a question just off topic. I noticed the color Supio is, I guess it's a lime green color. What made you choose that color for your shirts? Because I can't miss you guys. They're great for jogging at night. If you're going to wear a t-shirt with that green on, nobody's going to miss you. What made you choose that color?
I think there was a couple of reasons. We're from Seattle, right? All of us. And if you ever watch the Sounders or the Seahawks, the lime green is the color of our city. I grew up here, so did my co-founder. And then we like to stand out. We want to make sure that you see us when we're around, right? And we love the color. We rep the brand, and you know, there's a lot more of that green. So we need to send one over to you guys at the firm as well to make sure that you guys are all equipped with the Supio swag.
I appreciate that, Jerry. Jerry, if somebody wants to use Supio, wants to hire you, how do they find you?
There's a couple ways. There's a local rep that's in their like state, then obviously just reach out directly if you know that. Secondarily, if you just go to supio.com and you just fill out our website, someone will call you guys pretty shortly, within a day, and we'll get you set up with a demo. We'll set up one of your own cases in there so you can play with it hands-on inside our systems to make sure that it works. And we'll help train you up, make sure that you're equipped with the latest AI as it evolves.
Jerry, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you. Enjoy your 4 months of summer out there before the rains come back and haunt you for another 8 months.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Take care, Jerry.